Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Yassine, and this right here is the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra 5G. And I just did the unboxing video. If you guys haven't seen that, I'll leave it linked down below in the description. Go and check it out because I got a bunch of other Samsung stuff in that video as well. But this video, I want to show you guys how I set up my Galaxy S20. I will be changing some of the settings in the native settings of the Samsung UI, but then overall I'm going to actually put Nova Launcher in there and then go ahead and add a couple of widgets using KWGT widget. I'll leave everything linked down below in the description with the specific widgets that I'll be using, and then you guys could use that and follow this video for like a tutorial to see how I set up everything. Anyway, if you guys like those types of videos, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you're new around here, definitely consider subscribing. So let's go over to the overhead camera and then show you guys exactly what I do to set this guy up. So this right here is what the stock phone looks like. You can swipe up to go into the apps or swipe left. The first thing that I like to do is actually turn off this little panel right here, which is the Samsung Daily. Go back home and I no longer have that. And then the second thing that we want to do is go into the settings, and we want to go to the notification bar, which should be somewhere around here. Notification, go to status bar, and you want to turn on the battery percentage up there. That's just something that I like to do to see the battery percentage. And then we're going to go back home, and then the next thing that we're going to mess in the settings is in the display. So the first thing we do is turn on dark mode. I just like having dark mode on my phone. And then the second thing is turn off adaptive brightness. I really hate it when the phone changes the brightness. If you're like quickly going from the house and into the car and you're outside just for a split second and then it just completely goes down and up. So I don't like that. I like to manually control it. So that's the second thing that I turn off. Now in motion smoothness, we want to keep it adaptive so that it does give us the 120 hertz refresh rate rather than getting locked down to 60. Now we go back, and then for the screen resolution, I keep it at full HD, and the reason is so that I can get that 120 hertz. If we go to quad HD, then it won't give us the 120 hertz refresh rate, and I'd rather have the 120 hertz refresh rate. So go back. What else do we change in here? Screen off time. So for me personally, I like to set this to 10 minutes, and that's because I'm doing YouTube videos. So I'm trying to get shots of the phone and things like that. So a lot of times I don't want the phone screen to turn off in the middle of me doing a shot or in the middle of me trying to explain something. But this is something that you may not necessarily want to do to your phone. And then the last thing that I actually do in this display area is go to the navigation bar, switch this over so that the back is on the left, which is like stock Android. And then I want to actually go into swipe gestures, go into more options, and then see that I want this settings where now you have swipe from the bottom and then you got gestures on the two sides rather than having to swipe from three different areas on the top or the bottom right here. So that's what I have set. If I go back home and I swipe up, then I get to go home. Now I went ahead and already downloaded all the apps that I use and all the apps that I like. So one of the next thing that I like to do before I even get into setting up Nova Launcher is find a Google Keyboard, because I like to use Google Keyboard. And the reason is because once you set up Google Keyboard, then it's linked to your account and it's linked to like your Gmail account. So if you have preferences there and you have saved words, then it'll just import all that stuff. So if I go from phone to phone, whether it's a OnePlus or a Samsung, then I don't have to worry about putting my shortcuts for the words that I use a lot in there. So this is just why I use Google Keyboard. But if you download it, you can go ahead and just follow the prompts. And then I go to the theme, change it to this theme. That's the one that I like. Click apply, go back and go home. And now I have that. So if I go to search something, then it's Google Keyboard and all my stuff is there. All right, so that's the basic stuff. That's the stuff that I do within Samsung's operating system. And now we're going to move over to Nova Launcher. So like I said, I went ahead and already downloaded Nova Launcher, and I already downloaded KWGT and the two plugins that we need, which is the Andromeda plugin for KWGT and the Ouster plugin for KWGT. I will link all these things down below in the description so that you guys have it easy to find. So what we want to do is swipe up and launch Nova Launcher, and this is how it's going to start. So we're going to say fresh start, click next. We're going to go into dark mode. Like I said, I like dark mode. Click next, swipe up gesture, click apply, and then we just swipe up and we go home and you don't see Nova Launcher. So this is where you have to go back into the settings and change the default apps. You could do that by going to the settings, finding apps, clicking on the little menu up here, going to default apps, and then in here in the home screen you change that to Nova Launcher, and then it'll pop you in Nova Launcher. And then I will press and hold and actually get rid of these other pages, because I only like the 2 pages because I have 2-page setup. So I'll keep the 2 pages, but I want to get rid of everything in here. Remove that whole folder, remove that, this whole folder, remove that. So now I have 2 pages, and let's get digging and let's get customizing. So if you press and hold and you'll go into the settings and you're in the Nova Launcher settings, this just says Android 10 gestures. You can click on it and read more about it, but you can swipe back, it'll go away. So in terms of my home screen, I like to set my grid size to an 8:9, and that's just the way that I like it for these big phones. Icon layout, I like to actually just make them a little bit smaller, 100%. We'll go back, and then in here I actually like to go to the dock and turn off the dock, and then that way there's nothing on the home screen. So whoa, why did it bounce back? Let's go back to apps, default apps. Okay, so it's Nova Launcher, but I don't know why when I swiped home it didn't do that. And now that we got this whole default apps thing situated, now we want to go back into the Nova Launcher settings. So you want to press hold, go into settings, and go into look and feel, icon style, and I want to change the icon style to the Minma icon pack. Now I will leave that link down below in the description. This is something that I already had downloaded. So if you swipe up or you go into the app drawer, then you'll see they look different than the stock apps. So that's what I do in look and feel. And then the last thing that I like to do in the look and feel department is actually turn off the notification bar. So now when I go home, then it's truly just an empty canvas. And this is where the fun starts. So I like to have 2 widgets. So if I press and hold and go to widget, I can look for KWGT. I will press and hold and move that to the top, and then resize it to the area that I like. So just like that, because I already know the type of widget that I want. And then if you click on it, the first widget or the top widget is going to be from the Ouster plugin. So you will click Ouster, and it's number 27A. So let's find that real quick. So this right here is what the widget looks like. And if you go into layers, you can actually increase the size, and that's a little too big. So let's just leave it at 82. You can click save, go home, and that's what the widget looks like. If you want to resize it and make it a little bit bigger, you actually can, and just pull it from both sides a little bit from the, well, just leave it like that. Sorry about that. You click on it, go back to global, and then just make it a little bit bigger. Let's just make it 100%. And that's what the top widget looks like. And then on the bottom, you can press and hold, go to widget, scroll up until you see KWGT, press and hold, put it down here, and then resize it. And since I know the type of widget that I'm going for, I already know what it's going to look like. So that's essentially the size of it. And then if you click in it, you can go back to the installed area, go to the Andromeda plugin, and it's widget number 35A. So let's find that 35A. It's this one right here. I'll click save, go home, and it's essentially a Google search bar with a little picture of a camera and a settings. And if you actually click on the settings, it'll take you to the settings, which is a quick way to get there. And then after that, I like to actually put a couple of icons on here real quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and then show you guys what the final setup looks like. Okay, so there you go. I put a couple of apps on the home screen, and these are the apps that I use the most. So that's essentially what my home screen looks like. And then I have another page on the right-hand side, which I can add. Click add a blank page, and over here I just want a couple of things, 2 different widgets. One of them is the agenda widget. So if I can press and hold and then bring it to here, I can start it and resize it. And this is essentially just like a calendar widget, and this is how I keep track of everything that's happening. And you can scroll through and go into the settings and change everything up. And then if you press and hold, you are going to go into settings, or actually back into widgets. And then the other widget that I have on the bottom is like a to-do list. I forgot exactly what it's called. Oh, it's called stuff. So if you press and hold, you can click here. Once again, same thing. I resize it to what I want. And essentially it's a to-do list. So if I want to shoot a video, I would just, like I said, go into tomorrow and say Pixel 4a unboxing, which by the way, I do have the Pixel 4a in hand, so I can click that and it's going to go into tomorrow. I can go into upcoming someday, and then whenever I'm done with an actual task, I just click here and it erases it, and then the next day it's going to just load it without that. And then usually down here I put a couple of more apps that I'm using, but this right here is what my home screen looks like. I know this video is a little bit lengthy, but I really wanted to go into detail showing you guys exactly what everything that I do to my phone. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. If it's your first time here, definitely consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, stay plugged.